All right, so I am going to kick this off and just thank everybody for coming. I'm super excited because, as all of you know that are here, that I'm starting this new live speaker series for several reasons. And today I was going to do, I basically was going to interview myself, but luckily my amazing friend Blair saw that and offered to be the interviewer for me today while I share the reason why I created this. And my hopes and dreams of how it will all come together. So Blair, thank you for helping me. You have no idea. My heart is so grateful because, as I admitted to you, I was really nervous about doing this myself. So I appreciate you stepping in and providing me some support.
Absolutely.
Would you like to kind of introduce yourself a little bit? So
Sure. My name is Blair Stanislaw, and I am the owner of, let's see if I can get the right finger, Happy Lion Center. I also do healing work like Kelly, but I have shifted into helping people step into their own self-sovereignty and specifically learning how to integrate the spirit part of themselves into their everyday life. So that's what I do now. But I am very happy to be connected with Kelly because I enjoy our interactions all the time. So
yes,
I'm happy to be able to do it.
we have some good times, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So, Blair, I'm going to hand it over to you and we will kick this off and we'll see where it goes. I mean, that's the fun part of just
Yeah.
giving it a go. So,
Okay. Let me remind you, did you want to pin the two of us? Or
I
did
have
you?
it. Yeah, I pinned us
Okay.
already.
All right. So I just didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kelly, tell me how, let's see what my first question is. So we're here to on the She Rises, Amplify, and Thrive live speaker series, but you also have a nonprofit connected to that. So I'm actually kind of curious about the name before we get into the details of it. Do you mind sharing how that came to be?
I don't mind sharing at all. Actually, the name came back, I want to say back in August of last year when I decided that I was just going to go head first into creating a very big summit. And while I was creating that summit, or even before I got started, I was just really kind of sitting in my own quiet space, my own time, just kind of meditating on it. And know that prior to that, I had been in like I was in a state of surrendering because um, my life literally felt like it was crashing down around me, and I was like, okay, that's it. My hands are up. I'm just gonna live life, and if I'm meant to move forward in this space or forward in what it is that I want to be doing, I'm going to trust that the universe will bring it to me. But instead, it kind of just dropped it a bunch of stuff like in my lap all at once. And I was like, okay, it's go time. So when I was kind of sitting there, really going through trying to just kind of sort out this lump of stuff that I had received, um, I really kind of pulled on my heartstrings of what is it that I love? What is it that I want? And part of that is I really, and I've always been this way, I've really wanted to like empower women. I wanted to empower women to stand in their, to stand in their own empowerment, their own leadership, their own sovereignty. Like we have such an incredible gift to give to this world that for so long, I do feel like we've been really minimized and have been taught even from a young age as little girls, like, no, 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 you don't do that. No, 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 that's not for you. That's what boys do. And my little rebellious side kind of came out and I was like, that's crap. Like we have so much to us, so much strength, so much more than than what we've been told. And so I really sat there and I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, what am I really wanting women to do? And I was like, I want women to just rise up in any way that they can. And so that's kind of how SheRises came about. And then I was like, well, what else do I want them to do? And I was like, I want them to amplify who they are and their gifts. And I want them to thrive in that energy. And I was like, oh, SheRises, amplify, and thrive. So that's how that came up. And then it was interesting because then it was almost like it just took off from there. Um, And while I was doing my summits, one thing that I realized that I don't necessarily enjoy so much is putting on big giant summits, because that's a lot of work,
Mhm.
as you know. That's a lot of work, and sometimes I don't always have all that time to do it. And it's very intensive and can be very exhausting. But I really enjoyed all the people that I connected with. And I thought, gosh, like I still want to do this. I think I can simplify it down some. And, what if I just did like a live series, like 1 hour a week, where, people can come on, share their message, share their genius, and other people can get that information. Because I am about, how do I get information out to everyone? Everyone needs to see and hear this so that at least they can make their decision of where they want to go with it. So that is honestly how it came to be. As Blair, as you know, I threw around a lot of different ideas. And then, no joke, one night, because all my downloads come in the middle of the night, God forbid, spirit lets me sleep. I got another download, and this one really touched my heart. And so that's what led into the nonprofit. At the time, I didn't know how the two would come together, but I was like, there's something with this. So then that was kind of how my nonprofit came to be. And my nonprofit is all about empowering women, help lifting them up. I want them to stand again in their own empowerment, their leadership, I love business. So that was also one of the downloads that I got, was like my healing stuff. Yes, I know how to do it, but I knew there was a disconnect. And I've always loved business. Like I'm very program minded. So you come talk to me, and like by the time we're done, I have this amazing business for you in like 15 minutes, right? Have it all put together. I'm so excited for you. I'm like, let's do this. And people are like, that is not what I thought about. But I was getting asked more and more, can you help me create my business? So I knew there was something there. Um, so now that is what I do. I also still provide healing, because I know that's an important component for helping people move forward. But usually the people that come to me now that need healing, they usually discover that they do have a gift of like, yes, I want to help people. Like, how can I do this? And then the business kind of transforms from there. So anyways, I realized I kind of went off on a little bit of a
Oh,
tangent,
no, that's good.
but
Yeah.
it does connect in with my nonprofit. So with my nonprofit, you know, I I was gonna say originally I did focus on women who want to be entrepreneurs. Um, I really want women to build their own economic independence. I don't want them to feel like that I have to depend on, I have to depend on my parents or this man or this job or whatever it is that we have been told for so long that we have to depend on. Like, we have it in us to be independently, economically sustainable. So I originally started it off like that. My idea is I just want to raise money. And that's the other thing. I don't want money to be an issue, because we are in a very, I'm all for right now, we're in a very money driven world. So I was like, I don't want that to be an issue. So I'm more than happy to raise money. And if you come to me and you're like, I need a scholarship for this because this is going to help me step even more into, my career, starting my business, whatever it is, towards that independence, I want to be able to provide it. I don't want it to be an excuse. So I thought, oh, this will be great, because this is what I really want to do. So anyways, so it had, like, just so you guys know, like, it has turned into more other women who are like, I just really need support. Like, I need support in moving forward, getting out of this unhealthy relationship or moving ahead. I want to be a leader of my household, like whatever it is. Honestly, I'll be honest, I don't care. Whatever your dream is, I'm going to make it my dream, and let's do it.
Yeah.
So, and it was so interesting because I thought, wow, what a great way to raise money in doing this. And like, we have all these amazing speakers that, especially when we do summits, they oftentimes do give free gifts. And if they want to give a free gift, like, let's donate back into something that actually impacts women on a global level. And
Mhm.
so when I kind of started putting it out there to like other speakers, people were like, that's such a great idea. I would donate, and so that's how it came to be. So this live speaker series is really about helping people, helping women on a larger global scale, where it can create opportunities for them that they may not have ever, been
Yeah.
open to, knew that were there, or, are in a situation where they just really need just like the door to crack just a little bit so that they can get their foot in and walk through it. So that is how this all came to be.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. So my first thought is I know that everybody in this room right now, and probably everybody who's watching this, has a sense of what you mean by stepping into our own self-power, but it can be this elusive, confusing thing is like, well, wait a minute, did I not have my power, right? So can you describe for people the people who will be served by this nonprofit and the people who are served by your healing practice as well, how is it you're helping them step into who they really are, step into their own power? Like, how does one go about that? What does it feel like, that kind of thing?
So I think we all have moments, like even I have moments where, I'm like, man, I really like, let me back up. A good example is like in my crisis job. I want to be a leader. Like I want to help even other people that are up and coming. I want to be able to just guide them. I mean, that's my natural thing anyways. I'm a projector. I'm all, let's guide everyone. But like I want to be able to do that. And for years it's been like a battle with my supervisor to allow me to step in, like just step into that role. And anytime that I kind of would go to take a step, like be that daring, she would squish me down, like
Oh,
so quickly squish me down. And that's okay, because obviously like there's something within me that like I really want to step into that power. I want to step into that empowerment. I can honestly say like in doing this and what and like and allowing well and and allowing other women like saying I can help you, I can guide you, like but let's do it in the right way, right? Like I'm kind of like that. I want this, here I come. And of course I get like no. But like however it is that you safely feel like you can step into it, because not all of us are like crazy like I am and gonna dive in head first. There are some people that like they need that support. Like maybe it's just me holding that space to you while you talk to the person that will help you, or that the person that will get out of the way so that you can be in that position. Maybe it's just being reminded that you are an incredible person. You like all of us that came here are incredible people. We all have something to give. And maybe it's just reminding them of their own power that they have within. I really feel that it is unique in all the ways. Oh, Camille, I love it that you dive in head first too. So we're connecting, we're understanding. But like I like everybody is unique. And I think part of that is just finding out what like I'm gonna say what that thing is that makes them say, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna take that next step. And then you move with them. And then they're like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit scared, but I'm ready again. And maybe it might shift, right? But then
mhm.
every time you're taking a step, whether you know it or not, you're stepping more and more into your authentic self, your authentic way of being, which is so powerful. So I know I kind of talked about that in a roundabout way, but just really,
No, I mean, I think that's in our line of work, that's what happens. And it's not even just our line of work, right? Like we're living this experience at the same time, right? So stepping into recognizing what is in alignment with us, or so would you say that people who are going to benefit from your nonprofit are people who, like, do they feel lost? Like, what are their feelings? How would you
yeah.
characterize?
So in what I've experienced so far, so I can only go by what I've experienced, you know, like a lot of the women that I have connected with mentors right now are just they like some of them are just in a hardship. They do want to start their businesses, but financially they can't. And and maybe financially they can't afford a coach, or, um, but like the way I'm going to say the way that the foundation works is that like, maybe I match them with a beautiful business mentor that's volunteering their time, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not going to dictate what that time is. I want it to be like a union between the two. I want that there to be synergy in them working together. So I have some that are like, I just need a little bit of guidance to like either like I'm gonna say I have one just to get started. I have another one who is started, has a really good idea, but just doesn't quite know how to connect the dots. Like, and so, but like they can't afford a coach or they can't afford to go back to school. They can't afford those things. Or they're just not in a situation where, they can dedicate the time to like, because coaching can be pretty intense when you're trying to start something. So so I do have another individual, a beautiful individual, and she's like, I know what I want to do. I know I really do know how to get there. But right now I'm in a space where I just need support. I just need someone to talk to. I just need someone to just hold that space for me when I'm having a really difficult day. Um, and to me, that's still her saying, like, I want to be the leader or the CEO of my life first before I can do this. Um, but like I said, my heart is so open. I'm like, we all can help. Like, we
Yeah.
can all help each other. I don't care where you are in your journey. Like, if you come to me and you say, hey, this is where I'm at, I may or may not be able to I may not be able to help you myself, but I sure as heck I'm going to find somebody that can do it. Because why not, you know? So, I think it's just unique to every woman or every
So
person.
kind of like you would help them with networking.
Mhm,
You would help them with, it sounded to me like you were describing honestly kind of like being a sounding board
mhm.
for gaining more clarity. And
Yes.
the thing that I probably value the most that I just experience, I may experience it every day, but especially with people who are in the healing field, is being a sounding board that has the clarity to see where your own restrictions are that you've put upon yourself. So is that so is how is it different than the healing work than you did that you do, I guess is the
I'm
question.
gonna say that in all honesty, it probably isn't anything different from the healing work that I do. I think the different part is that after I just we explore what it is that you're needing. I think the difference is that, maybe I'm not necessarily doing the healing work, but I'm connecting you with who I don't want to say who I believe would be the best connection, because ultimately in the end you're going to like the two of you will decide if that's a partnership. But I'm doing the connecting with who maybe you might best work with. And Blair, you and I have talked about this, I think, before. Like I'm not afraid of people coming to me and saying, "Oh my gosh, I know somebody who is so good at this. This is who you should see."
Mhm.
Um, I would rather send somebody to the right person where they get the right kind of help than say, "Well, let me like I want to like I kind of like I want to keep you to myself. Let me see if I can do this."
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and that's feels like that's the nonprofit kind of
Yeah.
empowerment for women as a whole, right?
Yeah. So, and I'm not gonna lie, like I really, really love connecting people with other people. Like
Yeah.
it brings my heart so much joy to be like, oh, I can match you with this person because, I'm gonna go back to the fact like I'm a futurist. So when I see the energy, like, and I see the two energies coming together, I see so much opportunity of what could be created.
Yeah.
And I genuinely am like, I know, and it's taken me a little while to get here. Like, I always knew that I came here with a bigger purpose. I just didn't really ever know what that was. And I'm like, I really do want to create change on a big level, but I
Mhm.
want to do that where because we're always like, we're so separated all the time. Like, I don't want that anymore. Like, I want to bring us all together into that oneness. So if I can connect you here and I can connect you there, and like I connect somebody else, and that's all that, honestly, I know in a way, I mean, there's more to, the nonprofit, the business side of it, but like,
Yeah.
if that's all that I do all day long with it, I'm like, I would be in my own little heaven. Because it just brings so much joy just to see that connection, and
Well, and to see people light up when they interact with the person who is the right fit for them,
who
it helps them
sees
to
that.
release whatever they need to release and step into their new whatever the thing is that they're going into.
Yeah, like I think that's the key thing is I connect them with people who genuinely see them. And even the other person, the mentee, if you want, and the connection is just not one-sided where the mentor only sees the mentee, but the mentee also sees the mentor.
Mhm.
And I think that's the key to a good partnership and working together, because it is like that energetic exchange, and that's really important. So, yeah, it's been fun and it's been exciting, and I've been so grateful because I've had honestly, I just kind of put it out there to see what happened, and I've had so many like amazing women step forward just saying, "How can I help? Where can you use me?" And I'm like, "This is where I can use you now, but stay on standby because I'm hoping more stuff will
Yeah.
happen and I can bring that forward." But um yeah.
So somebody who's coming in as a mentee, as you're describing,
Mhm.
um, what would I mean, obviously we've touched on it some, but like what would you say in general they could expect? Like, I don't know.
You know what? I feel like the biggest thing that they can expect is number one, support in any way that they need it. And someone to just walk side by side with them and just encouraging them in whatever it is that they're needing. Um, one of the things that a lot of times in this world, like we can feel so alone. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just need somebody to just stand next to you, and every step you take, I'll take it with you. You're ready to take this next step. You need me to kind of take the step first and I pull you forward. I'll pull you forward. Um, I have this really, really good friend, and I think this kind of sums it up. Whenever she's like having a bad day or that I'm having a bad day and we reach out to each other, the thing that we always say to each other is, "Okay, I'm climbing in your cave to just be with you. I'll just be there. I'll just sit with you, and like I'll listen to you, because even in your words, I'll listen to you, and then um I'll know what it is that you do." So whenever she reaches out to me, that's how we know that somebody, like, we just need support, somebody to walk side by side with us. And like, you may not even say anything, and that's the space that you're holding, or maybe you are giving me guidance, but she'll text me and she'll be like, I need someone in my cave. And I'll be like, "I'm there. I'm sitting right there with you, whatever it is that you need." And there may be moments where we connect, and you know, she may be crying the whole time on the phone, but I'm sitting there. And that's all. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, "You're not alone. Do whatever you need to do. You're not alone." But I do feel like that also translates into when we're talking about leadership, or when we're talking about like creating your own business. Like, when you create your own business, like, it's scary, especially if you've never done it before and you're like, "Well, I'm just kind of flying blind. I hope this works out." You're literally kind of taking spaghetti and throwing it at the wall, and you're looking at what spaghetti pieces stick, and it could be really scary. So I think that being able to kind of hook people up with those mentors, there's that healing piece in there too, to say, "Yeah, it is really scary. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm here with you, and like together we can do this. Together we can create your dream." Whatever your dream is, like, it's your dream. Who's to tell you that it's wrong, or, it's right or wrong?
Yeah.
It's your dream. So,
So do you just when you meet these, mentees that come in, do you just, kind of assess as you go, or do you have, like, group experiences that help them to feel seen more, or how does it work?
eventually I would like to create a type of group experience. My nonprofit just started in January, so I'm
Okay.
waiting for the
Yeah,
momentum to
yeah,
like pick up.
Yeah.
So, but it's been very interesting because I've actually have met some of these women where they've seen me like talk on a summit, and then they've reached out to me like through email saying, "Hey, like, can we connect?" And usually a lot of times it'll start off like, "I want to work with you." And then I'm like, "Great, you want to work with me?" And of course, then I turn into like my business side, right? And
Mhm.
then we start to talk, and it's okay that it's not going to work, but like, I'm not gonna lie, if it's not gonna work and then they step away, my brain starts going and I'm like, well, what resources can I give them to at least get them started? Like,
Mhm.
I just want to get them started. So, I'm like, some of my clients, they'll hear from me a week later and I'll be like, oh my gosh, you should talk to so and so. Or, hey, I found this thing that can help you out, that can get you to where, like, at least, get you taking like that first step. And
Mhm.
I understand that it's not like I'm like on like from a business standpoint, like I'm not getting paid for it. But like in my mind, there's a bigger thing there, right? If I can at least get you started in whatever direction it is that you're going, I know that the bigger picture is the impact that you're going to make on a bigger level. And I'm okay with that. So anyways, to go back to that, like they've kind of, the mentees that have kind of come in kind of started that way. And then, and then of course I created my nonprofit. I'm like, this is just in my mind, a perfect piece to that is to be able to connect them and say, you know what, it may not be me that can help you yet or right now, but like I'm going to hook you up with somebody that can at least provide whatever it is that you're like, whatever needs you're needing.
Yeah.
I know I kind of feel like I'm talking in circles, but it genuinely is like, that's just how it's been
Yeah.
working out. Like, somebody comes to me and they're like, I really need this help. And I'm like, well, let me see what I can find you. And then all of a sudden, like, this mentor comes forward and it's exactly what I just spoke to this woman about. And
Mhm.
I'm like, perfect. Let's put them together. And I'm going to say so far, I'm at 100% in connections. And I'm like, yes, like this is, I feel like it's kind of part of my calling. Like, who could I
Yeah.
connect you with? And like I said, if I could do that all day long and figure out how to, like, honestly, how to make it sustain me, which I do think it's possible. So my brain's going, like, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I'd be in such my happy place.
So what would you say, and I don't know if this is a fair question, so if it's not, just tell me, but what would you say is the difference between your nonprofit, the the purpose behind their mission behind the nonprofit and other experiences? Is there more of a difference other than it's it's not money is not an issue?
Are
Because
you
I
talking?
think you're different. The stuff that you offer and the things that you do is very different than what other people could expect from a paid program. So what are the benefits
Yes.
of not having to worry about the money, I guess is the question.
I think that's part of it, is not having to worry about the money. So let's back up a little bit, because I don't want to say to not have to worry about the money. That would come like when I'm giving scholarships, right?
Okay. Okay.
Um, like a good example is I met this girl the other day. She is amazing. She is brilliant. And we were just having a conversation when she was telling me, what I'm going to say, what she was going to school for. I could see her face light up. But she's honestly, she lives in a country where, like, it's not like getting the money to be able to afford that is not easy. Plus, being a woman on top of that. And of course, here goes my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I think I can help her, right? And so I started talking to her about the scholarship program. And I was like, well, what do you have left? And she literally has one semester left to fulfill her dream. And like, this one semester has been like looming over her head for several years because she just can't afford it.
Oh.
And I
Mhm.
was like, so I think that's kind of a good example of, um, I know that you're in a very hard situation, that I know that your heart is really coming from, I want to help and serve other people. I can feel it. I can hear it when we talk about it. Like, why not fill out that scholarship application? And I may not be able to give you all of the money you need, but like some is better than none. Like you tell me what you need, and if I can,
So sponsorship even, potential
yeah,
sponsorships. Okay.
yeah. So it's not, it's not limited to just like one thing. Like I've also had other women that are like, you know what? I really want to do this, but I'm really afraid. Like, can I just teach a class just or like a group just so I can like get my feet wet? Teach a group, but here's my thing is that if we as women are giving to other women, I do feel like it is your responsibility to give back so that we can give to other women. I want it to be kind of like circular. So I do require that you provide a donation before you work with your mentor. So that money does go in, I'm going to say into the nonprofit pot so that we can give another woman an opportunity that
Yeah.
maybe mentorship is not for them, or volunteer, whatever it is that it is, or they're just like that girl that one girl, she has this one thing that's just looming over her head and she's just like, I'm stuck. And you know um and like that's like, why does that have to be a barrier? I don't know. So
Yeah, well, we were actually just touching on, and actually maybe we weren't touching on this even before the interview here. But I actually heard a podcast the other day, and this is just a podcast, not anything particularly special. But at least in the United States, this podcast said, and I didn't check the validity, but I am of the age that I am, so I remember the stories that my mother told me about the things that you had to do as a woman to be able to, for example, like this person you're talking about, you can't get money, or you can't make a purchase of something, or you can't sell something because you don't have a man there. This podcast said that it was actually the 80s before women could actually get like a business loan on their own without a man.
yeah,
And so that's not very long in terms of, the spectrum of humanity and where we are as a society, even though the young ones that are coming in, they don't have any concept of women not being able to work or any of that stuff.
yeah.
It's very young in its infancy. So I think there definitely are people who, still feel the effects. I mean, I certainly do, you know.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you this. I love soccer. We've talked about this, that like I love soccer. I ate, slept, and breathed soccer. Like that was my thing. And at the time when it was time for me to go to college, I was like, I know I can't afford it. Um, so I'm like, hopefully I can get in on like the laurels of my soccer abilities, right? Well, it was really interesting because like, I mean, I didn't suck. I mean, I was really good at playing. Like that was my thing, when I was younger that I could do. I loved it because it gave me an opportunity to like guide other people. Like the positions that I were always in was like I was literally moving people around, right?
Uh-huh.
So it totally fed into, my projector self. Probably not running because I run out of energy very quick and all that. But anyways, but like I remember I had stopped for a while because I was like, oh, I'll do like everybody else does. I'll work. And then I was like, this sucks. Like I really do want to go back to school. Like I did want to go back to school. So I knew that I was gonna have to do something different. So one of the things I did is I started calling schools up asking if I could try out, and if I tried out and they thought I did well, I want like I to get a scholarship. I had some turn me down. Like I had some turn me down. Like one school, and I won't mention the name of it, told me that it said that's pretty bold for a woman to do that.
Oh, wow. And what year was that?
So this was like back in like it was like 1999, 2000.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, and here comes my rowdy side. So I sorry if I offend anybody. I was like, I bet my balls are probably bigger than most of the guys on the guys team. Like you have no idea. Like you haven't even seen me. Like this is our first interaction. So, anyways, I kept calling around. Finally I got this one who was like, yes, come try out. And I was like, amazing. So I dusted off the boots. I went and tried out. Like it had been such a while that I didn't even have shin guards. He's like, where are your shin guards? I'm like, I don't have any, but let's do this. And the good here's the positive thing. It was a 20-minute drive from the school to my house. In that 20 minutes, he had already called my house. and he was ready to like invite me on and offer me a scholarship. And the scholarship he offered me was really good, but it was interesting because I asked him, I'm like, well, why, like, why couldn't it be like a full ride, right? Because that's really what I was needing. And and he was so humble. He said, I would have offered you a full ride. And he's all throughout all of the schools, because you're a woman, they don't allow as much scholarship money for women's sports.
Yeah.
And like I understood what he was saying. Like he had to bring a team on, so he has to
Yeah.
share that. So because I was a woman and I didn't like, and like I hate to say not a men, because a lot of men get full rides very easily. I don't believe it's that way anymore. But like I remember sitting there going, wow, that really sucks. So no matter how hard I tried,
Mhm.
I would never have enough to be able to do that. I still went to school. I still made it work. Like, I mean, I took odd jobs. I mean, I sent out a newsletter just recently about putting makeup on drag queens. But like, but it was true. And then, so on top of that, I was going to school full time, playing soccer full time, and then also working like numerous jobs just to make up for the money that I wasn't allowed to have because I was a woman.
That's really interesting you say that because I have a son in freshman year at college, and I think about it. He worked really hard to get what he got. He did get a scholarship and he did get a full ride. But
Nice.
it's so interesting because your story resonates way more with me, right? Like I understand that kind of a story personally so much better, but it's interesting the experiences that people have when they have the struggle. For us, we're talking about finances related to college versus the experience that they have when they don't have that struggle. Like, what kind of things come forth? Would you say that those kind of struggles really are the seed that help to create this experience for the people who are doing the experience, but also for women as a whole, that essentially aligns with your title here? It's going to help her to rise up to the challenges. So if we didn't have those challenges, would we feel the compulsion to actually rise up?
I think that's kind of a blanketed no, right? Because that's how we evolve is in our struggle and our challenges. That's why, you talk to every healer and they're always talking about like, oh, I got to heal this and I got to heal that. Or, like we understand that like when we're talking about healing, we're talking about something that we're struggling with, right? And so I feel like yeah, the other thing here, so I feel like, so here's the struggle. Let's go back to this girl that's telling me about like her school, right? And of course my heart's like going out because I'm like, oh, like those pieces and parts that I relate to what she's saying. Because like I get it. Like I had to do everything myself. Like I went out and earned the scholarship. It wasn't like someone handed it to me. Like I went out and paid for that. Like I'm going to say everything that I've earned in my like that I've gotten in my life, like I had to work hard to get it. So I understand that struggle. But the thing that stands out, and maybe this will answer your question, that in that struggle is the people that helped me along the way, that said, what can I help you with? What do you need? And there were moments where maybe I just needed them to tell me it's going to be okay. You can do this. Great. That's what I need to hear at that time. Maybe it was somebody who was able to kind of open the door and say, hey, I can take care of this part of it for you. So take a step in it. Now show me what you're going to do after that. Right. So I just like, I really do, like, I can tell you, I really do remember all the people along the way that have helped me in some kind of way to allow me that while I was in that struggle, take at least the next step that I needed so that I could continue moving forward, of course, into like the next struggle, right? Because it doesn't ever end there. There's always the next thing. But you know what? Like that was so important to me. And I feel like I really do feel like that's one of the things that my nonprofit does. In all honesty, I feel like that's one of the things that I do just naturally or like in my business. Like, what can I do to help you make it through that struggle to where you can breathe, step into that empowerment, right? Because after you make it over that struggle, you cannot tell me that you're like, I am Wonder Woman, right? But like be able to And then now you're in that new empowerment, and that's going to take you to whatever the next thing is. And then what do you need now? You know what I mean? Like, how can I help you overcome that? What opportunities can I help create for you? I'm not saying that I'm doing this for you, but like, if there's an opportunity and you're saying, hey, this is what I want to do with it, I just need a little bit of help. Okay, well, what do you want to do after that? Like, I think that's the other important piece. So after you make it through that, what is your plan after that? Like, what is it that you're wanting to step into and continue moving forward into, right? So, like, I would say, like the girl with like the school, like, I'm like, if I can get that money together and I can help her for that semester, her next step um is to like, she wants to do pharmaceuticals. Like, her next step is to is to be a pharmacist. Okay, like, I think that's great that that's what you want to do. Like, that is your dream. She told me like she's always had it since she was little. Like, it's so cute. She's like, I
So
always
not restricted to people who are wanting to start their own business. Just
no.
okay.
And like, that's the other thing, right? It's like, there's some people that have this brilliant, brilliant business idea. Like, I hear their story. Like, I know, like, after I hear their story, that they can, like, I'm like, God, you can help and heal so many people. And I'm all, what's stopping you? And they're like, I really, like, I really can't afford a website right now. Well, here, like, start your website. Like, after you start your website, what's your plan? Like, what are you going to do after that? Like, here, if that's what's stopping you from like the next step, well,
Yeah.
let's figure it out. So big, small, it doesn't matter. We all have an obstacle that sometimes keeps us from moving forward.
So women supporting women.
That's exactly what it is. And how good does that sound? Women
Yeah.
supporting women. I love that. So yeah, like, I'm like, that is how all of this has come about. Um, I feel very fortunate and so grateful. I'm like, to my spirit team for dumping it in my lap. And then, and then me trying to figure out, like, sort it out, because like, and I'm grateful, talk about struggle. Like, I am grateful for, like, honestly, like, pretty much everything getting taken away from me and me going, what am I going to do now? And surrendering to that, because like, here I am. Now I get to help other
Way
people.
opens. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Well, you had mentioned to me that you wanted to open the floor. Do you want to open the floor for?
Yeah. I'm like, does anybody have any questions or comment or like things they want to ask? I don't know. I know this is a little bit different than the normal format that I had originally planned, but like, does anybody have anything that they want to share? I know that we have some comments. I'm like, Camille is really active in the comment section, but we know it's because she can't talk right now. But yeah, I'll open it up to you guys. If not, me and Blair will keep talking. Well, anyone?
Well, I'll say something if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So it's interesting to me that the struggle that we work so hard on because we do this work, but it's really the seeds. So I'm what I'm interested in is this we all have certain struggles. So what is the unifying experience of women supporting women that you feel like is going to make the difference in the, like, what is it that women rising up to whatever challenge it is, how is it going to shift society as a whole? How do you see that as a different kind of shift than we've experienced before?
I think it's gonna, I think that we have been so driven in, like Camille said, like the patriarch, right? That masculine male energy. I mean, it's true. Like, even you pointed out, like, a woman couldn't start a business until like the 80s, like, and so I feel that we have really succumbed to the conditioning of kind of like I was told when I was told as a child to be like, I need to be seen, not heard. But my brother could be as loud as hell and crazy as he wanted. But that was not okay for me, because I'm supposed to be a lady. I'm supposed to be passive. I'm supposed to be this. But I think it's important that, you know, like you know human design, like we're moving towards 2027, which is really moving us into that feminine energy. And what we mean by feminine energy is that not like all the women are going to rise up, because men have feminine energy too. I just choose to focus on women probably because I'm a woman, but like women because I'm a woman. But like truthfully, there is this part, like I have a lot of masculine energy, but I really do have a lot of feminine energy too, like nurturing people more than like how do you feel like you could do this, like nurturing, like in you like I was going to say like your intelligence, but you know what I mean, nurturing your gifts instead of saying no, this is how it has to be done or else. And I feel
Less
like
dictator like.
yes, I kind of like sometimes I feel like that's a little bit of the world that we live in. Like, so like I want, like I feel like the more women, and I like, and mind you, my nonprofit and the people that I work with are women. And I'm not saying that men are excluded in this, but like I feel like the more women that really step up and step into their gift, that step into their genius as they step up, we're going to come from a more of a softer side, a more compassionate and understanding side. We're going to be coming from a heart space side instead of, from that like that center of fear, there's not enough, like everything is competition, all of that, it creates separation. If we can move more into this feminine energy, I'm telling you, I am like, I can see it. And sometimes I see it so clearly, but it's so hard to like understand because it becomes so complex. But if we can move into that softer side of things, that nurturing side, that compassionate side, that heart space side, then we start to really, I think that we'll start to really understand what oneness means. Does that make sense?
It
Where,
does. And what is triggering for me is the feminine energy is known for taking care, right? We can just stop there, just taking care, but
right?
specifically taking care of the self, because you can't really be in that feminine energy unless you are taking care of yourself. And so as a leader, what that does is if somebody is in the role of a leader that's believed to be a leader in society, and they play this role like that, where they stop to take care of themselves or they stop to take care of somebody else, it inspires other people to do the same with
Mhm.
other people, but also specifically for themselves. You know what? My mom said she needed to take time for herself, and so now I feel empowered to say I need to do this for myself, and that's it. Like, and there's nothing wrong with it, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. It was interesting because it was like a week or so ago my aunt came to visit me. Mind you, I haven't had a relationship with my aunt for almost 20 years. So here she is, she's coming to my house, we're really reuniting, and she's talking about her experience. And ours are kind of similar. Like we've always been in like a man's world when we talk about our business. Like even crisis is very man driven because it's very action oriented, right? In the stuff that you need to do. And like she literally had to compete, like it wasn't women she competed with, it was men that she had to compete to, and she worked her way all the way to the top, she worked hard. And there was something that she had said the other day that, and like, not to get into all the details, but it triggered her about some of the stuff that we were talking about. And she was like, my entire life in my career, I was always told that my feelings didn't matter. And if I had feelings, that would never make a good leader. Well, I do know, and knowing her, like, and how she is, and like even the 20 years before, I sometimes I would go to her work. The thing that kept her, I'm going to say that kept like her building, because she was in charge of the INS building. Um, that kept everything going was the fact that she had feelings. Like when people
Yeah.
talked to her, she was people centered, she was heart centered. And it wasn't like, if like, I don't know about you, but like I would run into it where like I'm a single mom, when my son would get sick and I was in this man world and had to ask for time off because I had to be mom. Like I got a million questions before I got, okay, yeah, I guess take your time off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm still a human. But like I'll tell you, my male partner that I had in probation, he could call and say, hey, you know what,
Mhm.
my wife has to work today, I need to stay home and take care of my daughter. They would be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Mhm. You're right. No conversation. And actually, I know that that goes to a subconscious level where, being a business owner, one thing that I think for me addresses this topic is there's this in the patriarchy, okay, the man's centered world. We're told push through it, go, go, go hard, just ignore your feelings, all that. Then we get exhausted. But what happens is if you take the time to rejuvenate and recuperate, take care of your son, because as a mother, you need to do that. Like it's replenishing for you to take care of your children or whoever else it is. And so if you don't take that time, then you're drained and you get worse and worse and worse and worse. And health goes down. And on top of that, then you don't become the person in the experience that is nurturing the others to allow them to blossom, if that makes sense. And it sounds to me like this whole nonprofit, this whole idea that you have birthed or brought through is really about nurturing the people where they need nurturing so that they can remember to take care of themselves. And then they can step up and do the same for other people. And then we're mothering the whole planet if we can get it big enough, right?
Right? I'm like, the goal is for it to catch on. I'm like, I have big dreams, but you know what? You're absolutely right. It's really important. Yeah, like, I mean, going back to, when I was a probation officer, I got tired of being drilled all the time. So I was actually sharing this with Nikki, who was here the other day. I was like, it got to the point where I felt like I had to go, 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 go. And then I had to compete, right? I had to compete with like my male counterparts, right? I would go, 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 go. That like there was times where I literally told my kid, I'm sorry, I can't stay home with you, but here, I'm gonna give you like a crap ton of Tylenol. I will drug you up and I will send you to school. Which I know that doesn't make me sound like a very good mother because you don't send your kids to school sick because it gets other ones sick. But like that was the pressure that I was under. And what do, right? When you go to work and you're trying to compete, as a mother, you're thinking the whole day of, oh my God, I hope my son's okay. I
Mhm.
hope he's being taken care of. I hope that he's all right.
Well, I'd like to point something else out that when we are not honoring that part of ourselves, like that we need and want to take care of other people, it does not, of course, it doesn't allow them to blossom into who they are, but because it drains us, we really are not able to, we make those sacrifices, right? And there's this delusion, I'm going to call it a delusion, but there's this delusion, which is the reality, where you have to be like that. Like women know that we have to ask off for work. And then when we ask off for work, like you said, you get drilled and there's guilt that's subconsciously put upon you, or maybe consciously. And this container, SheRises, feels like this is a place where we're going to say, no, don't do that.
Yes.
Ask for it off and expect to have that time off and expect to be supported and shifting your energy where that actually becomes your experience, not only with people outside of this group, but within this group, right? However, these people are connected, we support each other in the way that actually you have the situation that empowers you to do what you need to do.
Yeah, to just it's about what you need to do. Like what is good for you. We've been taught that if we take care of ourselves, and honestly, especially as women, that's really selfish.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. Like, what is it that you need? What is it that you need to do? And I think you said it right. Like, I want to create this supportive network of women that like, if I came to you and I'm like, oh, I'm really feeling like this, like I shouldn't do this. I know for a fact that you would be like, hell no. And this is why, and this is how I'm going to support you to give you to really what you're doing is you're fueling my empowerment. You're reminding me of how powerful I am for me to then take that next step and be like, this is what I need and this is why.
Yeah.
And it be okay to say
Mhm.
that. And that's what I want. Like, you know, I do feel like when people bring stuff to me, like in like you're like if you've got like a situation that's going on, I have a tendency to be like, what's going on? Like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to take care of this? Like, I do get a bit of an adrenaline because I'm going, oh my gosh, here's an opportunity for like, I always do think of it as us. Here's an opportunity for us to do this. Like, how can I help you? How can I help you step into the next thing? Or, you know what? Maybe you come to me and like, I just might know the resource that you need. And maybe it's not so much about empowerment. It's just, I can't find the next step. We've all been there where we just can't find the next step. Well, maybe I can give you that resource for the next step that then that's all you need.
Yeah.
And that's why I created it, because I told it like the people that are coming into it, like they're from diverse backgrounds. They have such beautiful, unique gifts. Like everyone is different. So I fully believe that if there was a woman that came forward and they're like, this is what I need, I'd be like, hold on, I got it. I got somebody for you.
Yeah.
And that's part of us working together. And that is part of the feminine side of that, of nurturing support, nurturing, the idea of just being expansive. Like, I want to have that network. And if you come to me, I'm going to connect you, like
Yeah.
push you together. So, and if I don't have that person, I'm also very driven to find that person. Like, I will go through my database to find that person.
Or
So
put it up to the universe and have them come. Yeah.
yes, I'm like, bring them over. But yeah, so honestly, that's really how this all came to be. And my live series, I'm not gonna lie, originally was not connected to this, but then I saw this big opportunity to really start bringing in, because well, I'm not going to lie, fundraising is an important part of a nonprofit. Like, bringing in money, donations are really important to allow it to be sustainable. But like, I want what makes it sustainable to also help another woman be sustainable. And like, that's really the goal. And that's why I created it. So um anybody who decide, like, if they're like, oh, I want to get this person's meditation, or whatever the gift is that the speaker brings, there will always be a minimum of a $25 donation. If you feel compelled to donate more, know that it's going to a woman that's in need, for us to like bring our earth forward. But truthfully, it's all about giving back. Like, that's what I want. I just want it to always just give back,
Cycle.
give back, give back. Like, and I just think that's part of our mission anyways, of working together.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I've got. And I do have a free gift. It is a free meditation for stress reduction. You'll find it on the website under my event link, under my name. It's all right there. And yeah, if you feel open to a stress relief meditation, please do so. um you know it'll be good. So,
Awesome.
all right, thank you everyone who came and joined us today. And next week, I want to put this out there in case we get a rerun. Next week, my guest is going to be Chris Rael. He is awesome. I saw him on Gaia TV, and when I listened to his message on ether physics, I was really drawn to him. So we're going to have a conversation about ether physics and whatever else comes up. So I hope that the people on this call, or whoever else sees this, I really hope that you join. It will be at the same time next week, and hopefully we'll be able to get the live going. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Blair, for helping me out today. And thank you to everyone that joined.
Thank you.